What's going on, guys? It's your boy Burroaks 77 in the building with my co-host here, McAfee. We're having a nice little day early. If you were in the Discord, we popped off already on an Anthony goal, which is a nice little early hit. So shout out Gold Boys and the supporters. Thanks for showing up in chat. Appreciate you. Shout out to our friends over at Picket, always sponsoring our shows. Great bet tracking tool, great way to shop lines, everything like that. You'll see me and McAfee over on there making posts, trying to promote some free plays, stuff like that, promoting the Discord. Nice little tool. Thank you, as always, to Pickett for sponsoring. We have a little bit of a weird week this week. EPL's taking a little bit of a break. We're going to get a lot of FA Cup action. We have a very nice looking Spanish slate and some nice looking Italian games as well. French League is off until Wednesday. They're doing cup games this week. I think it's going to be very hard to bet French Cup. Those markets are super limited, especially when it comes to like goal scorers and player props and stuff like that. And if you're in a state that already has limited options, you're going to be super limited on those bets. So we probably won't touch on that too much. What's good with you,
There's
McAfee? I kind of want to start off by talking a little bit about yesterday's Chelsea versus City game.
okay.
Um,
What do you think?
I thought that was potentially the worst match I've watched since the end of World Cup. That first half had a total of one shot, none on target. City looked lackadaisical. They looked like they had no drive whatsoever. Bunch of guys playing opposition. I thought Pep was doing way too much there in the first half. City ended up grinding out a 1-0 win, which it props to them. It's tough to walk into Chelsea and get a win, but um, are you coming around to the fact that City shouldn't be this heavy favorite in every match? That the days of City running up 5, 6, 7 goal leads on people is coming to an end here a little bit? Are the players getting too much time on their legs? What do you
Um,
think about that? Because I, when you look at it, like I have a hard time justifying that team being minus 300 to 400 versus most clubs in the EPL anymore, especially after a draw with Everton.
I think that post World Cup, it's just unique. That we're entering this weird season where teams have been broken apart for a month or more than a month. They've had a week, sometimes less for some of these guys. If they played in like the semifinal and final to get back into their team and train. Um, it's always some weird results around Boxing Day and New Year's, just because
Oh yeah.
over the years there's a lot of fixture congestion. I still feel like City against most teams in the Premier League should be at least a $2 favorite. Against the relegation fodder, they should be $3 or $4 on the money line for sure. Against other Champions League quality sides, I think um, you know buck 70, buck 80, something like that sounds about fair. They are still the deepest, most complete team. They're just not playing that great right now. Um, I think that over we still got a long ways to go here in the season. We're about halfway through, so there may be times right now where you can fade them a little bit because they do seem a little bit um, not clicked into high gear. Kind of stuck in first gear. Chelsea, they've got so many injuries right now in their
Yeah.
first team. They got about 10 first team players on the treatment
And
table
two
right
more
now.
stacked up yesterday
Yeah,
too. So
and I mean, starting Pulisic and Sterling and losing both of those guys within the first 20 minutes of the match. Sterling almost immediately.
yeah.
I thought Chelsea put in a pretty good performance, all things considered. They had a lot of kids out there. It's playing against City is not easy, and they held things down. they did with as best as they could, considering all things. You know, I thought Thiago Silva and Koulibaly did a wonderful job marking Holland out of the match.
Silva had a couple of sick tackles back
Yeah.
there.
He really didn't get many clean looks. I think he had one in the first half where he was played through and he got on the wrong side of Koulibaly, but he couldn't get it on target. But most of the time, they did a wonderful job denying the service in, and I thought Foden would have a much better impact.
Me too.
He was pretty poor. Cesar Azpilicueta, even though he's old as hell, he's smart and he kind of just kept pushing him farther and farther away. And yeah, I thought tactically Chelsea did as best as they could, but yeah, not a very exciting match. The quality wasn't there. Kind of wild. Pep throws Grealish on and Mahrez on, and within 5 minutes they create a goal.
Yeah.
Now Kepa, obviously he's the backup keeper there, so it's not his fault. He's playing match day in every match day in day out, but he was pretty poor for the City goal. He left that cross go right by you. There's angles of it where you're just like, what is he doing? He lets it go. But as an Arsenal fan, I was rooting for Chelsea to, try to grab
Oh,
at least a
obviously.
point.
Yeah.
But that's, that hey, it is what it is. I think City will catch them in a month or so, I believe, is when we play them. And we might play them a couple times within a short period of time, too, because our one game got rescheduled from the fall. So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, it's just a weird one. There's just so many. Somebody saying Chris Jericho in the chat. Yeah, not too much. But yeah, weird slate. The FA Cup third round. I'm not diving in on it. It's just not something I want to bet. There's so many matches of varying quality, and we just aren't quite sure on where teams' priorities are going to be with this tournament. So I'm not going to spend a bunch of time handicapping, these. Once we get into the later stages, now the Premier League's all entered at this point, so you're getting a lot of unplayable money lines and things like that. So you almost just have to play team total goals or wait for the lineups and play player props if they're available to you. Which that a bunch of us
FA Cup's more readily available. Just FYI, but I like exactly where you went with that because that was 100% going to be my segue. With how City looked and how that is probably we're going to see a bunch of heavy rotations, I believe, especially for EPL sides, especially for guys who are out for World Cup with the FA Cup. I tend to be in agreement with you. I will be treading carefully on FA Cup stuff, especially with the top teams in the EPL. So we have a pretty heavy Italian and Spanish slate this weekend. A lot of good games. Hold on. I just want to make sure that I pull FA Cup stuff up so that we can touch on it when we get there. So yeah, we'll jump
let's start with your boys, dude. They play early Saturday morning, right?
They sure do. Madrid. This is a really nice spot for Madrid. Going to Villarreal. Now, Villarreal definitely tends to be a little tougher at home. They definitely have a better home record. That said, I don't believe they've beaten Madrid in their own building since 2015. The fact that you're getting Madrid at plus 105, plus 110 area is an easy smash spot for me. What up, legs? Leg in chat looking for a Cavani goal. I tweeted it out yesterday. I also shared it in the Discord. The fact that you're getting Kareem Benzema for a win cast at plus 255, ridiculous. Like, absolutely fucking insane to me. That is without a doubt a smash spot for me. You guys do have to remember FanDuel's house rules. voids, this, that, and the other. I really don't see a way Kareem Benzema is not in this lineup.
Right.
I really don't see a way that he doesn't play a majority of the match. So yeah, if you're gonna give me plus 255 on Kareem Benzema, I'm gonna put more. I'm putting more than a unit on it. I'll tell you guys that right now.
Nice. The just kind of engaging with the chat a little bit. Um, yeah, I think Madrid is definitely the side to be on. Maybe though, like the way to take these Madrid matches, I'm noticing a pretty heavy pattern is a draw at halftime, and then Madrid to win it. You could do that two half bet there with the draw half and Madrid money line second half to get a little more juice. They seem to wait till the 80th minute to get going half the time. Um, and I would imagine, more of a defensive approach here. What do you think with the lineups? I've seen different projected lineups. Is Modric back? Is he going to play in this one from the start? Are we going to
Yeah,
see?
I would
Uh,
kind of assume to see Modric since he rotated in last game. We didn't start any starters. I think we threw in a couple of starters for like 10, 15 minutes to get a light jog in for our cup game that we
yeah,
managed to win 1-0 playing, straight B team. We played straight B team pretty
yeah,
much 90 minutes of that game. Um, I, you know, I want to see I want to see Fetty out there. I want to see a lot less of fuck. What's his name? I don't want to see Marco Asensio on the field. I'll
yeah.
tell you that right now. I'm not a Marco Asensio guy. I love Danny Carvajal. I think Tuchemani's been playing good football. I think that he does a lot for us if I see him in the lineup. I'm going to continue to look at his shots. He's got his shooting boots on right now, and definitely doesn't mind going for goal. I really liked what I got out of him. I loved what I got out of Kamavinga when he subbed on for us last game versus Valladolid. Um, I'm not gonna beat up what went on with that Valladolid match too much, but Madrid should have been up in that game 1-0 in the first 15 minutes. There was a blatant handball in the box that wasn't called or even looked at. So yeah, I mean, Madrid's thing is like, sometimes for the first 15 minutes, you look at that team and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? But then they quickly settle back into being Madrid. So,
Is
uh,
Courtois? I know Courtois was picked up a small injury. Is he going to be fine to play in this match?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any issues with Courtois here.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was pretty minor. I didn't really do a ton of research about it. I know he missed the cup game, um, and a few lineup websites and projections. They have the backup plan. So I just a question. I like Madrid, but if they don't have Courtois back there, it does give you a little extra, give you a beat of pause. Maybe it doesn't you, but I guess it does for me because um, I don't know. Well, I want to see the lineup, see exactly how they shake things out. Uh, like you said, if it's Vasquez playing like right back, and like we've got some weird things happening, like I'm like, there could be. I like the Benzema prop. I think for me that might be just the way I would play it. Because if this game ended 1-1 or something like that, I wouldn't be completely shocked. But uh, yeah, I mean, I got nothing else without seeing the lineups.
Yeah. I would be a little surprised if it ended 1-1. Villa definitely are tough at home. I think Madrid team total over 1.5, sitting at minus 125 area is a good play. I don't particularly see Madrid scoring less than 2 goals. I'll be looking at Vinny assist props too, because they just continue to not respect the fact that he had over 20 assists last year, and you give me plus 375 on Vinny assist, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah,
Because we know what he's capable of.
yeah, he was pretty.
Um,
I thought he was pretty poor in their last match, but again, it's like the first match back from World Cup for him. I think, unless he played something and I'm
I
forgetting.
don't know. I think it's tough to say he was pretty poor when you cashed a plus 850 ticket on his shots on target first half, my guy.
Yeah, I mean the shots on target were great. Don't get me wrong. Like I knew he would be there, but like it's like when you get, and I guess that's just part and parcel of the game. You know, you're not going to finish all your chances and stuff. But after those shots, he pretty much disappeared out of the match, and he was kind of petulant and out on the touch line. I watched the whole thing, and yeah, it was
He
just
got hacked all day, too.
he's one of those players that yeah definitely is the target of the other team. They know they can wind him up and get in his head, and that's part of being like a young talented winger. Like other teams are just going to say, hey, we're going to kick the hell out of you. Saka deals with it every match for Arsenal. So I know what you mean. It's tough. You hate to see it. You'd like to see the refs give him a little more protection. Uh, and the minute he reacts, he's the one that always catches a booking. Like I can't, I've lost count how many times Saka's been fouled 4 or 5 times without a card, and the minute he reacts, it's a yellow, like on his first tackle. Like, but hey, it is what it is. It's but yeah, I think you're right. Your boys can get it done because Villarreal. I mean, I
I like what I've been seeing out of Chuck Ueze a lot. I'm a big fan of Chuck Ueze, young Nigerian. I think he deserves more tick, and I think he's gonna get it here in the second half. He got a start in his first
yeah
game, in their first game back from the World Cup. They didn't throw him out there as a starter in their Copa del Rey game. He came on as a substitute, scored immediately. Chuck Ueze brings a lot of creativity to that offense, and he's fast. He's a dangerous guy. That said, I think I think Rudiger will be able to handle him pretty well.
he plays on the right wing, and Mendy's your fullback on that side, right? And then yeah, so I mean it'll be a thing where Villarreal will just try to absorb pressure and hit on the counter, like and yeah, it'll be on your guys to uh, snuff that thing out. So um,
yeah,
I got nothing else. Do you want to go to another match?
for sure. I'll just quickly mention this Mallorca versus Valladolid that following the Madrid game. I don't have much for that one. Mallorca at home should be able to handle business. They are the most carded team in La Liga. If you're able to bet cards, bet them to be the most carded team. Bet them, team total over 3.5 cards, match total over 5.5 cards. Take a look at the ref, obviously, because that does become a little ref dependent. But Mallorca is, like Leg in chat is saying, just chock full of hacks.
Yeah, the I've got the ref here. Valentin Pizarro Gomez, 5.06 yellows per game for him. So yeah, I won't get invested in that match. I can tell. I already know. There's nobody that is just calls my name out that I want to jump in on. So
Cadiz scored
definitely a
too.
pass for me.
If anybody's looking for an update, Cadiz scored on Valencia here early, so keep an eye out on Valencia. Valencia at
Yeah,
home.
and Everton pulled back on United. Connor Cody, uh,
Oh,
yeah, equalized. So that match is 30 minutes in, 1-1. So yeah, I'm gonna go back and rewatch the PSG match to see if there's any bits of notes. I know they're up in their match here, but yeah, there's nothing today that really got me too crazy. But Cadiz, who scored for them? It was Ruben Alcaraz. Okay.
um, yeah. So yeah, that's a quick touch on the Mallorca Valladolid plus a live update. I'll quickly touch on Espanyol versus Girona. I love both teams to score in that one. Espanyol will have a couple of guys suspended on reds after their match with Barcelona. Shout out them for tying Barcelona in a Catalonian derby where Barca was minus 600. That shit blew my mind in a fucking derby game, but It is what it is. Espanyol will have Joselu, so I like them to score. Girona gives up goals, but they manage to get one damn near every match. You can get both teams to score there at where's it at in my notes? Both teams to score right around -125. I like that a lot. I also might look at Tati Castellanos, just because I like him. That's Sam FIFA Brits NYCFC transfer who's been playing pretty well for Girona, takes their PKs.
Yeah.
Same with Espanyol. Joselu takes PKs there. Those are two guys I will probably get, and I do like both teams to score in that one.
I will take your word for it. I definitely won't have a bet on that match either. That's 3 o'clock on whatever. Yeah, 3 o'clock on Saturday.
Saturday.
I'll be heavy into NFL by then. But I know there's some good ones Saturday morning in Italy. Do you want to go there next?
Yes, sir. Starting out the day, we have Fiorentina at Sassuolo. Sassuolo is a heavy favorite, got kicked in the teeth a little bit here on Wednesday. That's kind of Sassuolo's MO. They are a Robin Hood team. They get up and play up to tough competition, and they just kind of look like shit against bottom table competition. It's frustrating, especially if you're a Sassuolo fan. I like Berardi a lot on that team still, but it's not the Sassuolo of last year. They've had to get rid of too many pieces, and they've kind of just been rampant with injuries. Fiorentina played a decent match on Wednesday. Let me see how they ended up doing. Yeah, they tied 1-1 with Monza. You kind of expect a little bit better from them there. Fiorentina weirdly suck out loud at home. So I'm probably not going to have a ton for that one, but if both teams to score is a decent price, I'll take a look at that. I might even add over 2.5 in that one. But that's not a game I really like a lot.
Yeah, kind of mid-table affair that's just not
That's for you, Leg. I know plenty about pizza.
he only eats frozen pizza. This is going to turn into a pizza stream here in a minute, which I'm
Yeah.
for. We could talk a little pizza, but yeah, Fiorentina, I think can edge this here. Sassuolo, yeah, you mentioned they're a selling club. Almost every year they have to sell their best player. I know Berardi is kind of a guy who's decided he's going to, do his most of his career here, which is good. I know he's happy, but every other time a guy pops up, they do have to sell. And Fiorentina, I think they've got all their World Cup guys back, like Amrabat's back, and I think I'm not going to probably jump in on it unless there's something juicy in the lineup that I just like. But what about your former Real Madrid guy, Jovic? Right? Is he still leading the line?
I don't know. Jovic doesn't do much for me. He's not that good. Like flat out, he's just not that good.
Yeah, I'm just laughing at the chat. Well, do you want to switch to the Juve and
Yeah,
Udinese?
Juve Udinese. So that's definitely the marquee matchup of Saturday over in Italy. Udinese, they find a goal every game. They really do. I had a long talk with Leg about this on Wednesday because I lean Juve. I think -130 is a little steep just for how poor of scoring form Juve has been in. But it sounds like Rabiot's going to be back for this one, and you're going to get a much healthier Juve lineup. It would be really nice if Dustin Vahulovic could come back. I'm not sure what his fitness level is. He left it all on the pitch in the World Cup. Absolutely did not give a fuck. Played like 60 minutes of a match with a bum knee. I know Juve couldn't have been happy about that, but that's what happens when you're in World Cup and you're in knockout rounds. Um, I originally was leaning Juve in the under, but I can see a way for this to go over. I like both teams to score for sure. I'll probably have to do both teams to score over 2.5. I think Udinese is, I don't want to call them frauds yet, but they're a little bit fraudulent. They're sitting way higher on that table than I think they have any right to be, off of a very hot start at the beginning of the season. I think as the season moves along, they're probably going to fall down the table a little bit here. Juve's you might not think this because they had a little bit of a rough UCL in some other matches. Juve's given up the least goals in Serie A this year. They've only given up 16 goals. They have a ton of clean sheets. They're very stout defensively, and it's incredibly tough to score on Juve.
Yeah, they're very boring to watch. It's almost a chore watching them play. People say, boring, in other matches. I watched all 90 minutes of that, and Juve are just, they're dreadful, man. It's not fun to watch them. So they really need Paul Pogba. I know
Yes,
he's
they do.
close. He's probably still a couple weeks out from last time I saw. Um, like you mentioned, Vlahovic, having him up there is going to be important to getting the goals. They scored a nice free kick right at the death of the game, but really didn't look like scoring much of the rest of the way. I've heard they're going to sell Winston McKennie. If that's the case, then he might be on the move to the Premier League. Um, Rabiot and Locatelli, I think in the middle of the park there is some steel. Chiesa, they need back healthy. He's barely fit now. You're going to have to give him a month or two to get his legs back because he came back from a pretty bad injury. Chiesa is important. He brings some directness to this attack, and without him fit and firing and uh, Vlahovic and Pogba, I just think they're missing too much out of here. And I know Quadrado, he's a player that is divisive, but he at least can get up and down that wing and send in some crosses and things like that. So for me, it'll be a pass most likely. Um, I just don't see enough value here to take him. Maybe if I do anything, it would be Juve exact scores of like win 1-0 or something like that. If I'm just dying to get a bet down in this game, um, or the under 2.5 is probably a slam for me. If I'm going to, I might throw that in there just as a. I said slam, which I shouldn't have said slam because I'm not going to slam it. But to me, it's a really strong look. I think it's hit. Well, yeah, I got it right here. 6 of the last 7 Juve matches have been under 2.5. So them at home, especially, and they get whistled at by the home, the Turin crowd. They want to see attacking football, and they're used to seeing good football there. So um, it's a weird one for sure.
Yeah. I don't have much on Inter Monza. Inter should dominate that game. Look at Lukaku, look at Dzeko, look at whoever's in the lineup for Inter. They should absolutely dominate Monza. So that one's a pretty boring one to talk about as well.
I would say the one thing interesting, so they started Lukaku and Dzeko up top. You get two, battering ram target center forwards. Martinez came off the bench for them. It's an interesting dynamic. I think Lukaku will probably still get the start. I think they want to make that work. Yeah, they have enough quality here where I think they should be able to get the thing done. DeMarco and Dumfries are good looks up the wings for assists.
Yep.
Especially if they're playing Lukaku and Dzeko, you got two
Yep.
guys up top that can get their heads on crosses. So yeah, DeMarco
That
and
Dzeko header was an absolute fucking piss missile too.
yeah, yeah, and So I think those guys that are good looks. Barea is their I think is their best player. He's got such a high ceiling. I like watching him play. But yeah, I don't know what kind of value you're going to get here on Inter. I don't like laying almost $2. So especially on the road, I think player props would be the way to attack it.
Yep. Moving on to Sunday. I'm not going to talk about Salnistra versus Torino. I don't think anybody cares. I'm not. I'm not really going to talk about Lazio Empoli unless you want to talk about Lazio Empoli.
I mean, we could just say, the standard. Just take Immobile to score. Don't fuck with Lazio money line. I don't know why people want to toss that on there because they. I don't know if it adds enough value. I mean, just Immobile is the guy. If they're gonna score goals, it's gonna be him. And so just take him, take his shots, take his goal, and just be happy. Why
Yep.
a 190 money line does nothing for you. At least nothing for me. Like, I mean, maybe if you're building out like a 6 or 7 leg same game parlay or something, like then I guess you can throw it in. I trust Lazio in Rome more than on the road. They should. I do think they probably get it done, but I think the implied odds I don't believe match up with the way like their actual record. So for me, it would be a Tiro Immobile goal or nothing.
Yep. Spiza versus Lecce. I don't care. Do you?
No, not terribly. I don't think I would get involved in it. There's a couple things that there I yeah I we could just keep it moving. There's more interesting games.
Cool.
Head to Napoli.
Sampdoria versus Napoli. Obviously Napoli money line is going to be unplayable. Napoli are going to want a bounce back game here after one being shut out and two having their first Serie A loss of the season. I expect Napoli to come out firing on all cylinders. I'll be looking at Oshiman. I'll be looking for a little more Special K. I'll be interested to see who they play on the right, whether or not Chucky Lozano gets over there, and who they throw out on the right. But I love Napoli here. I think they come out, you know, frustrated. Napoli always has this reputation, and it's deserved, of starting out hot and not being able to finish a season. I think that they can combat that, and that this is a very good season for them to look to finish. They are top of the Scudetto race right now. I think they handle their business here and really put it on Sampdoria. I would look at their team total over 1.5, 2.5, maybe even 3.5.
Yeah, Sampdoria. I mean, you just look at their goal differential. They're minus 20 on the season, down in the relegation zone. Uh, Napoli, like you mentioned, they should have a bounce back performance here. I thought Inzaghi's tactics with Inter were really good. He got them spot on and really stifled Napoli and what they were trying to do. But again, it's a long season, and they had most of their team gone at the World Cup. Trying to bring everybody back here and recapture some of that chemistry, and so it's difficult. So this is a decent bounce back spot for them, Sampdoria. They do lead goals, and I think they will win this thing pretty comfortably. So, like you mentioned, Victor for a goal is always a good prop. Special K, a goal or an assist. Obviously, you could just split your unit on that. I think he was over like 400 on an assist against Inter. Obviously, didn't.
Everybody was super juiced against Inter. And it ended up paying off. The
Yeah,
books kind of had
the
that
books
one
the books
spot
knew what
on.
was up with that one. They got that one dead on.
It's very, very hard to walk into the San Siro and come out with points as a road team.
Yep. Yeah, I had a few texts for some buddies that are not quite as into it as we are, but are looking to get into it a little more frequently. And they're like, "Man, Napoli, didn't they just like they're you know barnstormers. They're beating every. I'm like, be careful, man. This is probably their worst, their most difficult match in the Serie A season is away to Inter, and yeah, it proved to be. So, uh, like you mentioned, wait to see the lineups. There'll be some value in there. There's so many good attacking players that it's hard to pinpoint which one you want to go. But Big Vic, when healthy, is playing through the middle, so he's always a good bet.
Yep.
I haven't shopped the price for his goal. I'm sure it's negative money.
It's
Uh,
not, I believe it's plus
no?
money.
Is it if it's plus money, then you got to play it. I assuming that it was in negative money because of Sampdoria just being so leaky at the back. But I'm with you, man. Napoli probably by 2 goals.
Yep. Then we got
I'm seeing minus 120. Somebody just posted in the chat.
that's for Milan money line.
Oh, is that Inter money line?
No,
We're
that's
talking AC Milan
no,
against
that's
Roma
for yeah, that's for AC versus Roma, which we're gonna talk
here. Okay.
right now. AC Milan hosting Roma. Um, Roma put on an absolute classic Jose Mourinho game on Wednesday. They got a penalty kick in the 6th minute, scored it, and then didn't do shit else.
Yeah. I think he would have been proud. He was suspended for that one.
Yes, he was.
His lieutenant was on the touchline, but Mourinho was having a glass of red and just kicking back, cackling with like an evil laugh. But yeah, man,
No,
I think Milan will beat Roma here. I think they have enough attacking prowess. Dybala is not all the way fit still. I think he's still kind of working his form and fitness back. So for me, Tommy Abraham, I know people love to bet him. I don't. I think he sucks, kind of.
he's
But
off PK duty, so he loses value immediately
yeah,
there. It's Pellegrini now.
yeah, Pellegrini. Tammy, I guess 2 years ago, he had that great year when he was on loan at Chelsea from Chelsea to them, and
He
then
even
they made.
played he even played well for most of last year. I would say probably 3/4 of last year he played pretty well.
He just has no confidence. His movement is not somebody. It's like he. At least Darwin Nunez is like running and getting into good spots, and like
Right.
his body language looks good when he's squaring up to do it and things. Abraham just it's unless somebody just puts the ball right on a plate for him, like he is not beating anybody. He's not
I've
in this.
also seen him miss 2 of those too.
Yeah,
I
and
think
two of
me and you were watching that game
yeah.
where we were like, "Oh, dude, Tammy, how the fuck do you yank that left, or how do you sky that over the crossbar?"
I just think Milan's midfield and defense is too solid. I think Roma, unless they get a penalty, I don't see a way they score a goal. Maybe Chris Smalling from a set piece can get up and head something in, but they just they don't offer you enough. I like Zaniolo. I think he's going to be a good player, but right now he's too raw too. Like
He's got to stay fit too. He's
yeah,
got to stay on the pitch. That's another problem with Zaniolo is he's
yeah.
hurt a lot.
So give me Leao, running at the Roma back line. Give me Tonali and Benacer in that midfield rock that Milan have. Giroud, of course, is always dangerous and could get us a goal. So I think Milan at home at the San Siro here is a really solid bet on the money line if it's only minus 120. Um,
Shop
I
that
think
around. I've seen as low as minus 110,
yeah, there you go.
minus 115 area. I definitely agree with you. I'm on AC Milan here. I think Roma can get one. AC Milan have shown, um, I know they're getting healthier and they're getting better, but they've shown that they can give up goals too. But they absolutely have the scoring prowess to go toe to toe, even if Roma does try and grind out the game. AC Milan's can go against 8 men in the box. They have too much talent up front, like you were saying. Liao is absolutely amazing. He got us our goal early on, what was that, Wednesday morning. I think
Yep,
me and you were both on Liao goal, so we got a
we
nice
were.
easy cash on that one. Um, but yeah, I like Milan. I think Roma might be able to get a goal here. I don't mind the price of both teams to score at -110. Over 2.5 by itself is +105. That's not a bad little look either. If you like them both, it's +150 for the both teams to score over 2.5. I agree with you. I'd look at AC Milan team total over 1.5 as well. I think Milan handle business here in their building. And Roma is, like you said, they're just struggling too much. Dybala isn't quite there yet, and Abrams just looks like a man defeated. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to back Roma here, even though I do have a couple of top four Roma tickets that I would like to cash. So they're gonna have to turn it on at the
Just gotta
end of
hope
the season.
Lazio sell Milinkovic Savic this winter, and then none of the Juve guys get healthy, and you'll be
Um,
all right. You might
I'm
be able to
not
get.
I'm not worried about Lazio. If I know one thing about Lazio, it's that they're always going to shit down their leg at the end of the season. Like
Yeah.
that's just what they do. Uh,
Probably Juve is the team you need to
yeah,
catch.
Juve's the team I need to worry most about.
Yeah, because I do think Napoli are probably going to win the thing, and I think the Milan clubs, unless they decide to do something crazy, and like I know Leao will stay till the summer. I'm convinced
Yeah,
he will not.
there's no point in
He's
paying
not
a
worth it.
release clause for him right now.
Yeah, I want to see Leao at the carpet next year. Especially if this Mudryk, who I rate Leao more than Mudryk, but if his transfer fee is keeps creeping up as high, and they're saying they're going to hold out for 100 million for him, let Chelsea buy the kid for 100 million. We'll I'd rather get Leao for 75 or 80, and let Chelsea overpay for Mudryk, but. That's neither here nor there. I know he's happy there, but gosh, he gets such a massive pay raise by coming to the Premier League. When you look at these guys' wages in Italy compared to like Spain and in England and stuff, you're like, holy crap! Like, I mean, Italy used to be where the money was in the '90s,
Yeah,
but now it's crazy. They're making. I mean, they're not poor. Don't get me wrong, but
right.
some of these star players and stuff are on squad player wages if they were in England.
Hard to compete with the Italian lifestyle, though.
That
Once
yeah, that's the
when you're
biggest thing.
living in Italy and
The
how
weather,
far those dollars go in Italy, it's really hard to compete with the Italian lifestyle.
yeah, the weather is significantly better. So
Yeah.
good and the
Weather,
food.
women, cost of living, where you can live,
Right,
travel time, and the clubs treat you well over there. Like
yeah,
uh, there's something to be said about being the fucking man in your city too. Like, when Chris Bryant and fucking like all the guys from the Cubs were here in Chicago, like they couldn't walk down the street without getting noticed. And
right,
like I know it's like that with a lot of soccer players, but like especially when you got multiple clubs in Rome or in Milan and you walk around and everyone knows you as the fucking man on the street, like there's
right,
definitely something to be said for that from a player happiness level outside of the pitch. So
for
it
sure.
is tough to compete with that. Going to a place like England where it's rainy and fucking cold and
Oh
and you got a lot of other stuff to compete with. I do want to talk one more Italian game and then we'll finish it out with the Sunday Spanish
yeah.
slate
Okay.
because I really like this Atalanta or Bologna hosting Atalanta. Um, I'm gonna be a little bit mean here. Yeah, guys, like we lost our Atalanta bet, and yeah, it did kind of suck to watch them
This
go
was
down
on
two.
Monday, right?
Yeah, on one, yeah, this game Bologna versus Atalanta is on Monday. But like, man, the amount of people I saw telling me that that Atalanta game was trash just hit, like, it got me on a different level of pissed off. Like, you want to talk trash? Like, that's a trash game was that fucking City versus Chelsea game. Like, Atalanta, there were 25 scoring chances at each end. The game ended 2-2. It realistically probably should have ended 4-4. Like, that's how many scoring chances were on both sides of that game. I know it sucks to lose a bet, but like, to tell me that the entertainment level in that game wasn't off the fucking charts is just unacceptable to me, because that was one of my favorite games of Wednesday. Um,
Well, they're probably not watching the game. They're probably watching a Flash Score app or something like that, or the Foot Mob app, and they're just seeing uh, them get scored on and go a goal behind and go 2 goals behind, and they're like, "Oh, this match fucking blows." That's
yo,
how that's how people watch. People aren't actually watching the match. They're just blowing off steam because they're losing their bet. And I think I know where you're at. Like, because if I'm betting on a match, you better believe I'm watching the match. I'm not one of those people that can bet on something just because of statistical trends and data and like, hey, this league, there's this, there's that. I'm not betting on something I can't watch with my own eyes and can't get a good feel for. If I'm leaving money on the table, so be it. And that's just how I have done it and how I'm going to continue to do it. So, yeah, I usually ignore those people as because yeah, they're just going to try to they're just trying to wind other people up and get a little entertainment out of something because they're not entertained because they're losing their money, you know. And I'm with you, man. It was a good match. I thought Atlanta they responded well,
yes,
and definitely kept fighting till the end. Very good match, and I think their attack just needs a little bit of a tweak of some kind. So Zapata, he got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. He came off injured. So
yeah. So
what would you think? You would probably see Muriel up top to start.
yeah, if they bring in Muriel, I think that's a good like for like replacement of Zapata there. I really like what Lookman does for that team. I think he's a good player. I
Yeah,
know, I know we were chirping at each other a little bit when I said he was great. I mean, great in
right.
the I mean in the great in the aspect for betting on, for
Sure,
watching in Serie A. I don't mean that he's a great player in the
right.
overall scope of football.
Sure.
I think he's a great player for the team that he's on, for the league that he plays in, and for a
Yeah,
guy that is consistently undervalued when it comes to player props. I do want to address chat real quick. Yo,
sure.
if you think Atalanta is not reliable on for betting, like I'll pull up some receipts. I've fucking raked Atalanta the entire beginning of this season. Atalanta played great the first 10 games. I think they went undefeated at home 6 games in a row. They were money line underdogs on several of those games, or even if they were favorites, with including the draw, I was getting over plus 100 on them at home where
I
they were
think
undefeated. So
I
like
think people just are yearning for it because Gasparini he wants to play attacking football and he's pretty uncompromising in that. I give him credit. I do like um, I do like his style of play, but people are remembering them from 2 years ago when they were in the Champions League and they were, you know, every match had 4 or 5 goals in it, and it was just a wild, entertaining roller coaster of a time. So I kind of get where people are at because a lot of people came new into watching a lot of this stuff in the last 2 or 3 years as
oh, for sure.
legalization of the sports betting has come around. So you get introduced to something, you're like, oh, this Atalanta team, it's like over 3.5 in every single match. Like it kind of when that is obviously not sustainable multiple years in a row as players transfer out or age out of their primes and things. Um, but yeah, they were definitely a better watch a couple years ago. I think that's kind of why there's a little bit of a sentiment that they've fallen off. And I think also at that time, the Milan teams were a bit down.
They
Uh,
were, yeah,
and so now that they've
especially
kind of
AC.
right, yeah, now that they've kind of reestablished the pecking order of the Italian league, that Atalanta has kind of dropped back down to its what I would say is its normal state of being
Yeah,
kind of like on
Europa
the edge
League
of European
contenders.
football, right? Like,
Yep.
now,
But yeah, I think Bologna actually set up really well against them. Like you said, Atalanta wants to
yeah,
play attacking football. They struggle, as we saw, they struggle with counterattacks, and that's
mhm,
what Bologna does best. They can defend well. They break a counter. They break your lines. Arnautovic is absolutely deadly when he gets the ball and he's got one or two guys to beat. He creates the space. He makes the step. He also takes their penalties. The price on his goal is ridiculous again. That's why I took him last game. Like you can't put plus 400 on Arnautovic and expect me not to take it. He's the third or fourth leading goal scorer in Italian Serie A. I will be taking him again. Bologna at home is extra scrappy. I think this one's got goals written all over it. I love both
yeah,
teams to score in over 2.5 at 10.
yeah.
At plus
Another guy
110, sorry.
from watching some Bologna matches. Number seven, Orsolini. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's another good player on that
Yep.
team. But yeah, I think at home here it sets it up for an interesting one. We saw Atalanta on the road a couple days ago go down 2-0, to
They
a
got their road
bottom.
point though.
Yeah,
Like that's
and
that's what we gotta remember is like they
so
finished that game strong and got their road point.
that's why I like this setup. Them on the road, um, it should be Bologna should be boosted and be able to have a good match, start on the strong foot, and take the game to them a little bit. So I think that could be a sneaky good one on a little Monday afternoon. I'll
I do too.
definitely look forward to that. And I guess since we're on Monday afternoon, before we bounce back, we got to talk a little Arsenal because people always want to talk.
All right.
They want to say they want to hear my thoughts on the Gunners, and so
Of course.
we play Oxford. We go to Oxford. This will be a pretty changed team from what you see in the Premier League. I think you'll see wholesale changes. You'll see Cedric come in at right back, or maybe Tamiyasu if he's ready to go. Rob Holding in defense. We'll see. Uh, Xhaka probably get a day off. Party get a day off. We'll see guys like Lokonga in midfield, and we'll
Is
see
ESR gonna be healthy and ready to
ESR is,
play?
yeah, and that's the thing I was just gonna say. So Odegaard will probably get a rest for Fabio Vieira, and on the left we'll probably see ESR making his debut here. They've been taking it really careful and cautious with him. He comes in as a sub. I'm
Okay.
not sure exactly what they're thinking, but he has been back to training. They're just taking it super careful and super cautious with him. But yeah, I think we could see him come back in. We'll probably see the young Brazilian Marquinhos, exciting little player. Reminds me a lot of just body type wise of Shaqiri. He's got like that short, stout, like fast, fast stride and big old calves. You're just
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna say giant lower body
yeah,
that looks like a
right.
fucking tree trunk.
So I mean, he's one for the future. I think will be exciting, and then what will be interesting is does Eddie continue to lead the line? Um, obviously, if Jesus was healthy, this would be a slam dunk that Eddie is playing. Um, I would think maybe we do give him a run from the start, and then maybe change things up uh, at the hour mark, and we'll bring in some younger guys, some under 23s and under there'll be a chance to see some of the younger exciting youth talents get a run here. So the prices are still crazy for Arsenal. It's still, I think, minus 1,000 or something on the money line. They should get through the match, no problem. But obviously, don't play the money line. Just wait for that starting lineup, and then potentially look at player props if they're offered. I'm just not sure how generous the menu will be against Oxford. They're not going to be putting out a bunch of plus money props. But once the lineup is switched around, there is some value on some of these guys. So that'll be another one we'll talk about. And we'll see in the soccer chats on
Oh,
Monday.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, if ESR does play, I think I've made it pretty clear how I rate ESR. I like him a lot as a player, and if I can get some value on him, I'll definitely be taking a look at it. That said, like I used to like Oxford a lot. They got promoted, and typical promotion struggles. They've, lost some players. They've struggled with a bigger budget, putting things together. So Oxford isn't necessarily the best team in the world, but they're also not the worst. I definitely paid a lot more attention to them when they were in their promotion battle,
Yeah.
and they just lost my interest by being in the bottom to middle of a pack. So, it's not something I've super kept up with. That said, we have at least one more good game we have two more good games in Spain that I want to talk about on Sunday. Let's start with Rayo Vallecano hosting Betis. Betis was a little disappointing to me the other day. They came out, they played a fine match. It was a 0-0 draw. It was a little disappointing.
Yeah,
We
that
didn't
was also watching paint dry. Man, they could not get any sort of quality going forward. Like,
No, and I think that had to do with the lineup. I didn't like that lineup when it came out. I still kind of had to bet it because it already put stuff out for it. Um, they got to start playing Borja, Wanmi, and Fakir all at the same time. That's how Batiste gets good offensive production. We just saw him absolutely slap around their cup game challenge. Fakir only played like, I don't know, 12, 15 minutes, got a light jog in and got a goal. I expect to see the combination of Wanmi, Fakir, and Borja. Rayo is a tough building to go play in. They have a very unique setup. It's a cool looking building. They have
that's where there's
the
that big
big
ass
black wall of
wall.
death.
Okay,
Yep, they
yeah,
got the big black wall of death with the apartments behind it.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what's going on with Raul de Thomas. I saw he played a bunch of the club friendlies. I don't know if he's like sanctioned or suspended, but he can't get on the pitch for Rayo Vallecano. I really can't figure out what the deal is there. That team desperately needs RDT. They need a finisher because they are a quality side, especially at home. So I really like both teams to score here, right at even money. I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna take Batiste draw no bet. They are the better side. I can get plus 130 on a Batiste draw no bet, and depending on lineups, I'm looking right at Wanmi and Borja.
hmm Yeah, I was on Borja in that last match. I thought it was a good matchup for him that they're at home to do something, but um, let me down. Obviously, can't win all of them, but yeah, I thought Fakir was off his normal quality. His pay,
He
it just
definitely was. That last match he played, it kind of looked like Batiste was just almost had cement in their shoes.
yeah, it was a tough one. Now, I mean, you got to give credit. It was Bilbao
Yeah.
made it difficult, and usually Bilbao are pretty bad on the road, and that's why I thought it would be kind of kind of a fun look here to go on Batiste. So let's see, switch things up. They got to go on the road here. Maybe they can get something going. But I know the match that most people want to hear about and talk about, and you're probably your favorite match on the whole slate, right? This is
Yeah,
juicy.
other than the Madrid match for
Yeah.
sure. This one, Yeah, since I can't cheer for both teams to lose and drop 3 points, I'm gonna back Atleti here. Atleti host Barcelona. I You can
Hmm.
get Atleti on a draw no bet at plus 125. I think that's fantastic value. Um, Simeone, dark arts. They're gonna try and get under the skin here. This match is gonna be a bloodbath. The refing it averages over 6 fucking cards a game. This game is very not friendly. If you watched any of Simeone ball, you know how much they love to just hack the shit out of people. Um, yeah, there's gonna be cards galore in this one. Barca has only won 2 of their last 5 road games in Atleti. It is very, very tough to go into Atleti and play. I like this. I like this a lot. Is what the fuck's his name? The dude, fuck, with the
Which
pink
team?
hair.
Which team are we talking about?
We're talking about Atleti versus Barcelona.
No, I know, but you were saying you said somebody with pink hair.
Yeah.
What, Griezmann? You know,
Yeah, Griezmann. This
okay,
is a Griezmann. This is a Griezmann revenge game. I would love a Griezmann goal or a
right.
Griezmann assist here. Griezmann obviously was loaned to Atleti from Barcelona. Atleti specifically was keeping his minutes down so that they didn't have to pay Barcelona their bag earlier this season. Griezmann has looked good in his last couple of games here for Atleti. I like him. I like a revenge narrative on him, so I'll be looking at his props. Um, that said, Barca are capable. I mean, you can look at Dembele. Personally, I think Louis is having a lot of problems here, being the guy against bigger teams. It, they're able to put 2 guys on him, mark him, and keep him from being in dangerous opportunities.
Can't,
He still gets his, but I think it's going to be very difficult. I think this is going to be a low scoring game, under 2.5. Go ahead on what you were going to say about Louis.
yeah. So did they make that transfer permanent, or is it something where they have to buy him this summer? How does that work out? And in Spain, like in England, you can't play against your parent club if you're on loan. And
Transfer is permanent now. They made it permanent because they were getting pissy with them not playing his
okay,
minutes.
I just wanted to make sure that that was the case because um, I was looking at his transfer market and I'm like, all right, where is the because I know they paid him like loan fee. They paid him a loan fee, and anyway, yeah, João Felix, I don't expect to play. He's looking for the exit door as soon as he can. Um, so
He
what?
played last game for him and
Yeah,
scored.
I just feel like the move is right here. Like his agent is twerking hard. He's twerking hard for a move. Um, and so what? Griezmann and Morata up top,
Yep.
uh, or something like that. So yeah, I think it could be a defensive game. I'm interested to see the lineups. How again? I'm always interested to see what Barcelona, what the front three looks like. Um, will it be a standard front three? I know Lewandowski's suspended for this, right?
No, I'm pretty sure they somehow shadily
Did they work around it?
I'm pretty sure they shadily unshadow banned him from his suspension.
Okay,
Don't ask me how. But La Liga loves Barcelona and they don't want to see them
they want to keep
punished
the
at
title
all.
race on, huh?
Hmm.
So let's see. Final judgment made on the Lewandowski ban here. So will serve a 3-match suspension starting Sunday. Yeah, so he is out for 3
Okay.
matches. He is out for for 3. So I
Awesome.
guess that means they're without their number 1 goal threat. Um, so what, Dembele and Rafinha, maybe Ferran Torres probably plays centrally for them. Yeah, that's tough. I want to see obviously the Barcelona back line too. As long as they've got Araujo, Kunde, Balde, like those guys all in there, I'm okay. I think that like they're a bettable team. When they have like Garcia and freaking Marco Alonso playing center half, all kinds of craziness, then they're a fade. But I like your angle that you mentioned on the cards. I think cards will be flying all over the place. Um, Pedri, Busquets. I think will probably both get booked. I'm assuming they'll both start. So, Rodrigo De Paul, another one that likes to leave a a tackle in on somebody. Kong Dogbia if he's playing, and who's the yeah, I don't know. I guess I would want to wait to see the final lineups before I make any decision. But this will be a fun one for sure. I'd definitely be locked in and have this thing on. I don't lean strongly either way, and so usually when that's the case, the draw is probably the right side. And if this thing ends 1-1, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I tend to just give a little bit more credit to Atleti at home. I think that they will kind of, especially with no Louis. I thought that he got cleared because he played last game. So yeah, if they're gonna 3 game suspend Louis, I
yeah.
want to see Atleti beat him so that I want to see Madrid keep clearing space at the top of the table.
Yeah, there and now I don't have the fixtures in front of me. The Metropolitano used to be like a cauldron, 5-6 years ago. It's still a great, atmosphere and everything, but I think you can go and get some results. Diego Godin is no longer there in his prime, and Oblak's no longer in his prime and stuff. So like the age of like them grinding out the 1-0 because they've had 7 home matches, won 3, drawn 2, lost 2, scored 8, conceded 8. So again, I don't have the fixtures in front of me on who those were, but I Barcelona is also strong on the road. I guess they're one by because Madrid have played one more match on the road. Madrid are 7 wins out of 8 with 1 loss, and Barcelona are 6 wins out of 7 with 1 loss. So I think 1-1 that match screams 1-1 to me, and a lot of cards. I think that might be the angle I play.
Nice. Yeah, that's kind of all we got, guys.
Yeah, that's all we got.
So thanks for tuning in. Obviously, hope we were able to answer some of your questions. Shout out again to Gold Boys for putting on the show, Pickett for sponsoring us. You guys can find us on Twitter at Burroaks77 at Matkafee. Yeah, have a great weekend, and let's catch some tickets. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Yeah. Poor Connor Cody. He undid all his hard work. He scored an own goal. At 2-1 United here.
Hey, that'll happen. Yo, I still can't believe that Poole won a game without scoring a goal.
Yeah. Nuts. We'll see you guys next Friday.